Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before I do get started, let me give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. We had Deku, and we also had members of his party. Izuku, Pyra, Oliver, Indra, and Fova. These five went to investigate the ruins of a dungeon, and upon their arrival, they found the door open. And Fova, she mentioned that this was peculiar. The last time this place was investigated was 60 years ago, and upon them heading inside, it was not good. They encountered specters on the first floor. Deku had to invest in light magic to start blasting through them, and this caught Fova off guard. The further down into the dungeon they went, the more she looked at Deku strangely. He's doing things that shouldn't be possible, like manifesting magical abilities out of thin air, and even using wordless spellcasting. That being quite apparent when on the second floor, he used healing magic after they were almost crushed by a giant block of stone to heal his allies. Now, they went further down into the dungeon, and it did mean something. They encountered a riddle. They were able to answer it, and then on the third level, they encountered golems that resembled bugbears. After they were able to get through that floor, they went down to the fourth floor, where Izuku, he saved Fova from getting stabbed in the face by a dagger that was thrown by an assassin. And this person, they were quite unhappy Fova was here. They wanted to get revenge on members of the royal court. Not only because they have their own vendetta, the man also said Fova's true name. And it had her scared. Fact of the matter is, this entire party now knows her name, and that does mean she may have to serve them if they decide to use that against her. Izuku, he was able to fight off the assassin, who after it endangered his friends, he was angry, and his intensity was already dialed up to 11. The moment he got mad, that was dialed up to 12. And he accidentally killed the man. He offered to heal him whenever he injured him gravely. But the man, not only did he try and beg Deku to do this, he gave Deku a piece of paper, the orders he was given, what he was told to do and how to execute things. And Izuku, after he was able to calm down for a second, tried to heal the man, but found he already passed. And this had Deku in a bit of mild shock. His allies tried to calm him down. Oliver, he was concerned. Pyra wasn't too sure what to say. Indra, however, told Izuku to heal himself and take a minute. Meanwhile, Fova was still trying to understand the situation. And right now, they only have one final door before they can find the obelisk. And this certainly does mean something. They've been down in the dungeon for a few hours. And hopefully, before the day's end, they can get out of here. Now, we do currently have Deku. He has been sitting against the wall and trying to go over it again and again in his mind. The rage, the aggression. He just went berserk. He lost it for a minute. And he killed someone. They weren't cursed. They weren't a monster. But they attempted to take their lives. Had he had the chance, he would have attacked with the intent to kill. He had a vendetta against the royal family. He had a vendetta against a lot of people. I mean, he's working with somebody and that is quite well known. Perhaps he can use that skill to talk to the man. Find out more about this. But that is not what he needs right now. If he tries to talk to the man, he's not even sure if the spirit will be willing. It's Not good. He's gotta think that out if he can. What motive would drive him to stay here, though? How did he even know they'd be here? The list of people who know this place exists is low already. And then there's Thela. Her name. People knowing that, that's a small list as well. It's not good. Really not good. So, oh boy. He just can't at the moment. That passing through his head. As Deku, he does go to look at whenever Pyra does get to bend down. Her asking him if he's alright. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep my mind preoccupied. I know. You saved me. He would have harmed us. He tried to kill Fova. I know, but I don't like it. He was a killer. And he was working for these people. But there's more to it now. It's bigger than we thought. If the guy was telling the truth and the obelisk is destroyed, then there's a demon somewhere. The person who released it, or if it got out on its own and it compelled someone to do something, I don't know. That's not good, though. Fova, walking up, as she does, meekly begin to state, this is very bad. If someone in the court released the demon, then it could get worse. The only people she believes could do this would be Star Whisper. And then there is also Dorian. What do you mean? This place is old. The maps we do have are not marked. If what you're stating is true, it could be bad. There's also Calordian. He may have been able to get through some of these traps and these things. I know he is powerful, and he used to be a knight for the Royal Guard before he was appointed to the court. He's one of the suspects, along with Dorian. And she's a shaman. Yes, she is. If you're saying that they're not working alone, then it may take multiple to do this. Predicting the traps would be something that Seraphine would do. She's an oracle. I see. And who would know this information? That would probably be Telinus. He's a sage. Quite powerful and known for many things. But he can still fight? I believe he can. There's multiple members of the court who could have done this. I can list them out on more than one hand. So it's a conspiracy then. One court didn't work with the other. One court is working with the other to do this. I am not sure. But I believe it would be best if you calm down. Deku going to fully stand. The moment he does, she does gotta take a step backwards. Run out him turning to the door and walking up to it, beginning to push the heavy doors open. And she does gotta watch on. Right now he is not in a good mood, and he does not want to take his aggression out on them. He wants to be focused, keep his mind sharp. Though, if they do go down to the obelisk and find it broken, she does have her own concerns. Not only about what this may mean, but what it might be able to do. And that it is another problem. If this court matter isn't of one member of the court being murdered, it could be about multiple traitors. And that's an even bigger conspiracy than before. It's really bad. If they have to execute multiple members of the Seelie and Unseelie, there could be unrest. But they need proof. Proof that this is what happened. And she does silently wish her grandmother could know this. If what they found here is true, it's very, very bad. Now, they do get to descend the staircase. And Deku, he does have a spiritual aura begin to pour around him. Right now, him hoping, beyond all else, that whatever's down here is not bad. It's something that can help their investigation. Help him put his mind a bit more at ease. Usually dungeons, they have something down below. Something guarding treasure. If the Fae put something here a long time ago to protect the obelisk, he's hoping it is still alive in here to either be questioned or punched. Really, really hard. And that, Deku, he is the most intrigued about. His warrior's mind, it is calling for battle. And this Deku is trying to repress, but his rage is calling for an outlet. Now, when they do finally go to descend fully down, they do see a massive door. Deku stepping forward as Indra does go to follow. Deku turning back and telling his party that he'll head in first, try and see what they're dealing with. But if anyone does think it's too dangerous for them to get back to the stairs and retreat up, it's easy. If things get too bad, then try to heal. Does everyone have their potions? Pyra going to bring her hand down to check her bag. Oliver checking his waist for his own vials. And Indra does express. She doesn't need the potions for combat. Deku turning to her as she does express. She does not plan on losing. And Izuku, he does this one smile. Since he does have the same idea. Though right now, he is intrigued himself. He's got healing magic along with some potions in reserve. Not just for healing, but for stamina. And even for magic recovery. He's at about 80% of his own magical reserves. That Wall of Light spell, it did take quite a bit out of him. And then lighting up the entirety of the 4th floor, yeah. That magic might be simple, but it definitely does take a lot to make sure no shadows remained up there. Now, Deku, he does open the massive doors, them swinging in as they do to step into a room that is large. It's massive. And Oliver and Indra, the both of them do begin to look around, stepping in and seeing this large chamber full of treasure. It's full of so many things. It's incredible. It's beautiful. Right now, him going to stare on. Before he does, going to walk over and bend down, holding up his hand and trying to use magic to make sure this is actually real. It's not an illusion. In his hands, they do to fall on to a handful of gold coins, pulling them up and expressing, they're not fake. They're not an illusion. They're real. That gem over there, it's bigger than his palm. This is incredible. Deku turning to Pyra, who right now is trying to scan the entirety of the room, trying to look for traps, look for anything. There should be something here. And Deku, he does a turn to Indra, who right now is staring at a giant pile of gold that does sit there in the corner. And she is salivating. Deku staring at that. Right now him hearing a noise and turning his head. As there is where a creature, it does begin to rise. And right now, they do to watch it. All eyes turning to the noise of the gold coins rustling, the gems and rubies falling, as the clattering of coins moves to the ground. And Deku, he does get to see a giant creature that shouldn't be possible, but it is. It's a mighty, no, a large serpent. It looks like a giant snake with white and purple skin, giant fangs and purple eyes. The pattern on its body. Poisonous? It might be. He wouldn't doubt it with those fangs. And the creature, it does begin to hiss out in a language Deku didn't know it could speak. It's stating out in common. Why are they here? They have entered its lair. And Deku does stare at that, a little dumbfounded, as the creature does begin to look around. So many options. I am hungry. Which one of you shall I feast on first? Deku, holding up his weapon, telling the creature, they do not come here for treasure. They come here to know, where is the obelisk? The obelisk. More people wanting to know where it's located. Deku, looking around the room. More people? Yes. You are not the only one in search of it. Last person who came here was powerful. A fae of all creatures. It staring directly at Dila, stating just like that creature they travel with. They must be related with it. Have they come to free their dark master? No. We're simply here to make sure that creature is still locked away. Lies. You speak lies. I will not be felled by another odd weapon. Deku, noting that down. A fae of powerful nature? Your tricks will not work on me, human. Deku staring at the creature, which does go to begin casting lightning directly from its mouth. Deku going to bring his hands up and creating a few barriers in front of them. And one does it a break upon impact with that spell. This surprising Deku. And his system doesn't inform him of this entity. It is a creature of spiritual power. And this creature does come with a warning. It cannot be killed. It does not stay dead. His system informing him of the challenge he just started. And that sounds bad. It sounds very, very bad. But right now, he does need something to take this aggression out on, and something to test this blade on. Deku going to bring his hand up and go to turn. Going to rush to the right as his barrier does stay intact. And the creature does not follow Deku's Indra, flies up into the air. Oliver going to the left as Pyra, she does go to get ready. Her and Thela going to maintain their position as the Naga, it does a turn. Its tail swiping out to try and attempt to smash into the barrier. It smashing into it and tracking Deku. As right now he does go to leap forwards, bring his hand up and blasting out ice magic. And the creature, it does go to counter. Right now it going to blast out with lightning magic. And when the two do to collide, Deku does watch as this creature does push his back. Right now him staring at that. As right now, there is where Indra does go flying in, blasting out fire at the creature, which does a scream out. And Oliver, he does come rushing in, slashing against its skin and finding that his blade is not effective. It going to turn and going to try and swing its tail towards him. However, he does a leap backwards to the air and go to get away. Him crashing to the ground on his feet and stepping backwards, bringing his hand up and thinking about what he needs to do. His weapon isn't strong. His magic could be effective. He can slow it down. That on his mind, bringing his left hand and blasting out with ice magic. as Deku, he does go moving to the right. Him going to watch as Indra does a blast out with fire magic again. And the moment Deku does see that, he does watch how it does react to her attacks. It roaring out in pain. And Deku, he does go to manifest his spiritual creature. It rushing forwards as Deku, he puts more power into it. And Deku does get to watch on. The creature does manifest. It flying forwards as another creature flies from him. It with a red aura. Instead of being his white and blue, coated in those colors. It's a small dragon, coated in red aura. And that, it does surprise Deku. His body still flowing with power as he does go to slash out his blade. The creature going to watch as the strange creations come flying at him. It shouting out, "It won't fall for more strange tricks." And it does a blasting out with water magic directly at Deku, who does go to bring his hand up and counter with a blast of fire magic. Him holding it back as right now he's blasting flames from his palms. And the creature, it does get a watch on. Right now, staring at that. As Izuku, he does go to use his ability, using Misty Step to step behind it, turning his head as he does disappear into silver smoke. Him reappearing a few feet to the right as he does go to rush at the creature, bring up his weapon and slicing into its torso. And the creature roars out in agony. It smashing to the ground as it does go to teleport. It and Deku. Him finding himself in the air in 1 second after being on the ground another. And the creature, it does a swing its body around. It making its way towards Deku as it does try and strike its head directly at him. Though Izuku, he does go to bring his foot up and step off with wind magic, kicking it directly in the snout and flying into the ground. Him smashing against it and rolling, before he does find his blade and go to use Mage Hand to pull it back towards him, catching it in his hands and getting ready. As the creature, it does go to express. It saying in common, 3 forms. Quite an interesting adventurer. It has not feasted on powerful magics in some time. Him staring at it, and he does think. He needs to use his weapon. Him shouting at Indra to distract it. And she does go to bring her hands up, beginning to charge up fire magic, saying the incantation as she is going to pour more mana into this ball. And the dragon does get a turn. The dragon does a turn to the creature. It holding 2 balls of fire. The creature turning to her before it's to look back at Deku, realizing that he is charging it. And Oliver, he does go to bring his hand up. Right now him firing at the creature with ice magic. And Pyra, she is trying to get her aim proper, her aim correct. And she does try to use messages to tell Oliver about what to do. And he does understand. Deku getting in close and going to use his sword's ability. Right now him disappearing in a quick flash. And everyone, they do hear the creature roar out in pain as Deku. He does step in to strike with his blade. Right now him disappearing into a whirlwind of attacks. And he does go to stand there. Right now him sliding across the floor and turning, bringing his weapon up as his body is covered in the creature's blood. It hissing and oozing with acid, trying to eat through his armor. And Deku's blade does stand there. It going to be resistant to this material as Deku, he does watch the creature bleed. It turning with several of the cuts present on its body. Deep lacerations that do cause it to recoil in a bit of fear, since this is a powerful weapon. And it was not ready for that. Indra blasting at the creature, trying to get its attention towards her, flying a bit to the right as the barrier hiding Thela and Pyra does sit there. And the creature, it does try to rush her. However, Pyra does fire her bow and her aim does strike true, smashing the creature in one of its large eyes. It recoiling backwards as Oliver, he does go rushing in. the creature going to bring its tail up to try and lash out. And it does go to catch Oliver, him being knocked away as he is able to strike and cut into its flesh. His weapon, breaking his Deku, does a turn to his friend, quickly making his way over using Misty Step. And whenever Oliver does get to sit up finding his weapon broken, Deku does get to heal him, pulling him to his feet and asking if he's alright. Damn it. That thing is strong. I know. Deku opening his hand and pulling out one of his wyvern blades, handing it to his friend, telling him, "This might be a bit heavier, but it should work." And Oliver, he does it a smile, climbing to his feet with a giant sword. And he does find it to be less unwieldy than last time. His training has gotten better. His equipment, however, it does need some improvement. And that is on his mind. If they are able to collect this treasure, he's definitely going to buy himself some better gear. And that, it does cross his mind. Him surprised at the idea, since that usually would not be his first priority. And right now, him and Deku do go charging back in, the creature making its way forwards to try to attack the party. And this is where Deku, he has to throw up his hand, him blasting out fireballs directly at the creature, bring up his other hand and going to hold up his blade, as he has to shout the word Blizzard. And the blade, it does go to blast out with magical ice. It swirling around and attacking the creature, being to coat its body in this sheet of ice, trying to freeze it over as the creature, it does go to flex, moving in to attack. And Deku, he does it a move in as well. This time Indra flying in and slashing across its back. The creature going to roll out in pain and take the attack, swinging its tail upwards and trying to attack her. Her dodging out of the way and bringing up her hand, blasting into its back as there's a strike it in the back of the head. And this creature, it's making its way towards Deku, who does go to rush in as it does go to try and jump out towards him, trying to strike fast and use lightning magic. And Izuku, he does go to bring up his sword and strike the attack, it being repelled as Deku does a slice into the creature's face, him using his ability and slicing into its head. And right now the creature, it does go to be cut through multiple spots. Deku going to reappear on the other side as the body does begin to flail, freaking out his muscles do lose control. And Deku does get a turn, Oliver flying in and going to slice the creature in half. Right now him cutting it down the middle, and the spray of blood does cause him to retreat, as right now he does need to take a healing potion and try to gain his bearing. And Indra herself does come flying down, her commenting on that creature, since it said a lot of things. And Deku, he does nod his head. Strange tricks, a fae, and a strange blade. People who were here before them. They might have to check the assassin. This thought annoying him. If it does, no, he does have his weapon with him. But if he does have any other trinkets, something that can help it fight this creature, he knows it won't stay dead for long, but it won't revive for a few days. And that thought does go through Deku's mind. Right now, him going to look around the room and seeing Oliver, who does go to walk over and pick up a large ruby, talking about it. He still can't believe this. All this money, all this stuff. It's just been left here for hundreds of years, possibly even millennia. Him turning to Thela, who does express, it's been left here for a long time. They have no use for it. And, well, it was to sate the creature's thirst. What creature? The creature that lived here. I do not know much about it, but it came from somewhere else. Wait, this thing's been here for a long time, right? Yes, but it's from the material plane. Potentially. It is, I believe, from the Nine Hells. I do not know. The lower plane. Or, I may need to brush up on my knowledge. The lower plane's the Underdark. Pyra going to state. Deku turning his head and asking about that. Well, what does that mean? I do not know. Not much information is known about it. I could be wrong, but this is a creature of evil. I've never seen one in the flesh, let alone thought it could be taken down so casually. Understating. Her smiling a bit as Pyra does let her have that. Expressing. It went down easier than she expected one to do so. And Thela does express. She would have to agree with that. It was certainly supposed to keep many at bay. But if they are not the first to fight it, then that does mean many things. Him nodding his head. As he does get a turn, asking Thela if the Fae would be angry if they took this treasure. And she does nod her head no. This place has been abandoned for a long time. They only have maps showing what this place has down here. They didn't have traps on the map. So, as far as they're aware, past this room is just the obelisk. And Deku, he does nod his head, as she does try to think for a second, telling him she does have one request. All of them turning to look at her, as she does express. What she doesn't know is that, and they all do know her true name. What do they intend to do with it? Deku looking at his own party members. As Pyra, she does have her own little cheeky grin staring directly at the Fae. And Indra herself does join her in that matter. Though Oliver, he does try to think about that. I have a request. Yes, and what would that be? I wish to make a deal with the Fae. Something that gets me power. Deku turning to his friend. Are you sure you want to do that? You made a deal. I know, but that's complicated. You have to be careful, Oliver. Don't phrase things poorly. I know, but if I make a deal to forget your name, can you put in a good word with your grandmother to give me a good deal? I know Izuku's a different story, but I'm having trouble keeping up. Is that fair? Her smiling, bring her head up and expressing. In exchange for forgetting her name Thela, her true name, she will tell her grandmother to let him have a fair deal. Something that will benefit him in helping the hero in his travel. Holding up her hand to him, and he does a walk over, shaking her hand and telling her, that does sound like a fair deal. He does agree to... Huh? Him looking down at her for a second. Why is he shaking Fova's hand? Him turning to his party members as they do to stare at him. What? Him turning back, looking down and trying to think. Stepping backwards and expressing. Wait. Did he just make a deal? Oh, wait. What did he bargain? What happened? He just forgot something. Wait, he forgot. Wait, I knew? Him turning, a bit surprised. Wait, he heard it earlier, didn't he? Didn't they all hear it? So why does he not know it? Huh. You'll be groggy for some time. Him turning back to Fova. It will take a minute for your mind to adjust. Until then, know you made a fair deal. Her smiling at him, and that it does seem a bit more genuine, show more relief. And right now, he does go back to looting the treasure. However, he does try to ask Deku privately a bit about what happened, and he does try to explain. He'll get a fair deal with the queen. That's what happened. And he can't blame him. Right now, Deku shoving a large ruby into his inventory, as he does continue to try and pick up a lot of treasure. Right now, he doesn't want to take all of it, but as much as they can carry does seem like a good amount. And right now, after probably a few minutes of stuffing these things in his inventory, Deku does call it quits. Right now, him walking over to the large door that Fova does stand in front of. And she does look stressed, concerned, wary as to what she might see within this door. And that definitely does mean something. As Deku, he does go to push through the door, and a large room can be seen. In front of it, Deku does see a dark obelisk in the dark, bringing his hand up and snapping his fingers. The small balls of fire going to light up as they do shine, as if they're hovering fire in the air. Seeing as the dark room does going to light up and the obelisk does show a dark purple-red color. Him stepping in, and the energy in this room, it's faint. It feels creepy. It feels strange, and the only way he can express is bad. It feels bad. And that Deku can tell. Pyra and Indra join them shortly, as right now he does gotta watch on. Stepping into the room and seeing the runes carved around the obelisk, carved onto the ground, carved into it. And it looks fine. It's preserved. It's made of some material. Deku stepping forward, bringing his hand out to it, and going to try and figure it out. This thing is intact. Stepping to the right, it looks fine, but it doesn't seem stepping behind the obelisk. And this is where he does see a problem. There's a lot moving down. There's cuts and scrapes in the back, and it's cracked open. Deku freezing. Bits of the obelisk are missing back here. Deku turning to the right and going to see if that side is damaged as well. But it's not. The back of the obelisk is destroyed. There's no denying it. Right now, him staring at it, as there is where Thela does walk around and see the same sight Deku's looking at. Her freezing and now knowing what might be happening. There are demons involved, and this thought does go to terrify her. They are bad. They're evil creatures, and they mean harm. Deku looking at the ground and trying to see something, going to bring his hand up and go to cast Detect and Magic around the area. Him closing his eyes before he does get a turn, walking back over to the obelisk, bring his hand up and running it along the inside. It is damaged, but there's something here. Oh, what are you doing? My magic is telling me, Deku pulling something out, as he does go to hold up a torn piece of silk cloth. And this, it does look strange. It's got blood on it. It's got the Naga's blood on it. And it's a symbol. It's the Twilight Court. This is one of their robes. One of their members' robes. It's here. But why would it be left here? Deku looking at the princess. And she does walk over, taking this from Deku. Whenever she's going to hold up her hands and he does it, hand it over. Her staring at this and expressing. They may have leads. If this robe did belong to one of the members of the court, then they would know if it went missing. What do you mean? Members have 3 robes. One for social events, one for the actual court event, and one for dinner events. They are quite hard to clean. And even using magic, getting them correct is sometimes a task. They are made and woven from fine magical materials. I see. So if one went missing, then it would be assumed they may have a hand in this. Correct. Him understanding. They've already got a large list of suspects, but this piece of evidence points towards the entirety of the court. It could be any of them. There were 14 members before, but now there's only 13. Half of them could have had a hand in running the dungeon. Half of them could have done much to get to here. But this piece of evidence doesn't just shine a light on that handful of people. Yes, it does add to them being likely suspects, but this is a nail in the coffin. The Seelie and Unseelie are all suspects. And Deku, he's going to have to come down a bit harder on his investigation and let them know what he's found. What's more, he needs to tell them what is going on. Find out their alibis first, then see if any of them change it. See if anything else is going to happen. He needs to go over the assassin's note. Maybe present it to the court as something there. See if any of them confess or get nervous. That could be a good idea. Though right now, they've got to go back up. They have to leave. Deku stepping out of this room. And the obelisk does sit there inert. It unbound to what used to lie within it. And that Deku, he is concerned about. They need to go. And they do begin to backtrack, heading back up the stairs to the 4th floor. And when they do so, Deku, he does stand there. The moment he does get at the top of the staircase, he does look up, seeing somebody down the hall. Right now, them at the intersection where the man's body does lie, and the lights are still burning. However, there's a smell in the air, and Izuku, he does go to start running forwards. This person should not be here, and the fact they are does mean a bit. Right now, his party following quickly behind him. Oliver and Indra ready. Pyra and Thela in the back. And the 3, when they do get close, they finally do hear a voice. Before it does get to speak. Stop. And Deku, he does it a freeze. Him and the others going to do so. And the creature, it does get to turn slowly and reveal itself. It is strange. It's got large leathery wings that they're a dark red color. Its entire skin is red. They're like dragon wings, but its hair is a dark black. You can see her horns. Her fully turning. And Deku, he does get to see that right now her hands are covered in blood. And what draws him more is the features on her face. It's Thela. But how? Hello, hero. It is nice to it turning its head. its eyes locking directly on Thela before Isa let in a inhale of breath and sigh. Well, there goes that idea. And here she was hoping that would be fun. Who are you? Me? uh, I am someone who you will not meet again. If we are lucky, hero, though I do serve my master. You released the obelisk. The thing inside. The devil, yes. Now, I believe it is my time to go. Though I did have to come back and clear up some loose ends. I was hoping to at least take her out of the equation. Have a bit more fun before I do take my leave. Who are you working with? Quite a number of people, hero. But her holding up a tongue. And this does disgust Deku. Her waving it forwards and telling him, she will never spill her secrets. Though she could just be lying. Fae can't do that, as he does know. And they are no Fae. Deku staring at that, rushing forwards as he does watch them disappear. And this, it does annoy him, them disappearing in a ball of fire, as he does swing his blade, missing his strike. And right now, he does stand there trying to think about what to do. As Thela does tell them that that was a Cambion. It shouldn't be here. They're a fiend. What are they? A Cambion. They serve evil. But they are not chaotic. They are not good either. They serve their masters but have an agenda. And this one? I don't know. But that's not the most disturbing part. It looked like you. Her bring her hands up, saying they can shapeshift. They can. She has heard of these creatures. And Deku does stare at her, aware that she can't lie. And this, it does mean a bit. Him stepping forwards and putting his blade in his inventory, asking if she is involved with any of this at all. No, I am not. I am involved in the investigation, trying to find the murderer. For your sake, I hope you're telling me the truth. Him turning, right now going to walk away towards the exit. And Thela, she already thought the hero was an interesting case. But right now, feeling that intensity bear down on her, it is kind of strange to feel. He is powerful. And right now, she's not sure how to feel about all that. As they do get to leave. Though there is Indra, who does try to catch up to Deku when they do get up to the second floor, wanting to talk to him privately, beginning to state in Draconic. How is he feeling? I'm fine. We just need to figure out more about what's happening here. I don't give a shit about this right now. We just need to figure out the murderer and then get out of here. If it's Seelie and Unseelie, then it's bad. Pointing fingers isn't good, but pointing fingers at both should be. If I can talk to the queen and maybe go through their possessions, find out more, than things could be good. I wasn't talking about the investigation. You are being intense. And while I do not mind that intensity, you are pointing it at the wrong thing. I know. It's just... You killed someone. Someone who kills for a living. And as far as you know, was working for evil and a demon. The fact that the fiend came back to take the tongue means they knew more than they should have. You are not at fault. Her bring her hand to Deku's shoulder, telling him as a friend, this is good. He got close and scared them into acting. They know whoever is involved is working with not only a devil, but is working with a Cambion. So, it's good. Now they need to search the possessions of those of the court. Find out who may have items of interest. Find the missing cloak and potentially find what they used to poison the wine. You're right. You're right. Thank you. Him nodding and smiling, as Indra does a step on a piece of the floor. It, moving down as an arrow, does go flying through the air, smashing her directly in the back. As she does, gonna bring her hand up and grab it. Her going to kill over in pain for a second. Right now, her angry. Her turning and shouting out at Pyra that she thought they cleared all the damn traps. And Deku does get a turn, looking down and seeing the arrow lodged in the side of her butt. And this immediately causes him to burst out laughing. Right now, him feeling this hearty laugh overwhelm him. And she does get a turn back looking at him, annoyed and angry. As Oliver, he does try to stop himself from laughing, but failing. And Pyra, she does go to stand there both terrified, but cracking up. And Thela, she does cover her mouth, since she does not want to show this person how amusing this is. She will not give them that for free. Now, Deku, he does watch Indra, who does bring her hand down and pull the arrow out, her dropping it after breaking it, looking at Deku and asking if he can help her. Deku bringing his hand up and healing her, as she does turn back, giving Pyra a side-eye. Then going to turn and leaving the dungeon, a bit more in a hurry, since she is done dealing with this damn place. Now, they do head back to the palace, and so far, nothing has been found. And Izuku, he does go to inform the queen of what they have, and she is not happy about this, especially whenever her granddaughter does sit in on their conversation and inform them both of who might be more likely suspects involved in this. Along with this piece of cloth, it does mean a bit. We can search the belongings of the court members, but that will involve them not being in their quarters. And right now, she does have a plan. She, however, is going to be a bit annoyed. She can hold court and keep them involved in politics. However, she may also be able to talk to the human princess, see about getting her involved, or dragging Sir Theodore in and attempting to get him to do something they need done. And right now, that is probably the most likely option they might have. Send the mentor away on a quest that the court, they have been either trying to approve or deny for some time, since they did not have enough manpower for the operation. Though with that man, yeah, they definitely do have a bit more of a beefed up army, if not a one-man army. Now, Deku, later, whenever they do all sit down for dinner, he does run this idea by Theodore. But Theodore, he does stare at Deku, as he does try to inform him as to what he's heard happen today, and about how they're going to have a bit of a chat. And that, it does annoy Deku. But Theodore, he does need to give this kid some proper advice. He did something he didn't think the boy could do. And right now, that does have him concerned. The Feywild is getting to him, and he needs to let off some of that aggression before he accidentally kills somebody else. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.